Hello students. So today we will discuss some of the problems on solving the given electrical network to find out the node voltages by using nodal analysis. Okay, so we'll look into this particular technique and we'll learn in detail with various problems that we try to solve in this particular video. So the first thing is we need to know the steps involved in this. So in node voltage analysis or nodal analysis, we have various steps which we should use it to solve the problem. So the first step is we need to find the number of nodes in the given circuit. Okay, we need to find the number of nodes in the given circuit. The second step is we need to mark all nodes with its nodal voltages. So as in mesh analysis, what we did, we found the number of mesh in the network and we marked all mesh currents in that particular diagram. So similarly here, we find the number of nodes in the given circuit and then we'll mark all nodes with its nodal voltages. Now the third step is for that nodal voltages, whatever we have marked at each nodes, we will try to write the KCL equations for each nodes by assuming current leaving from that particular node for each branch. So we for each branch which is connected to that node, we assume that current is leaving, all currents are leaving through that particular branch from that particular node, and we try to take those currents and we write the KCL equations for each node. After writing KCL equations, so we get some equations where we can convert that equations into matrix, and then we all know that the matrix solution for with respect to the matrix can be found by solving using Cramer's rule. So similarly, what we found super mesh in mesh analysis. So here also we will have super node in node voltage analysis. So where the super node is obtained when we have voltage source in common between any two nodes. There we used to see a current source in common between any two mesh. Here we see that super node will come when we have voltage source in common between any two nodes. Okay. So therefore, if you find super node, then the first job you need to do is you need to write the equation for the voltage source that is connected between that two nodes, which is called a super node. And then after writing the equation for that voltage source, we need to write the equation for the super node. Okay, we need to write the equation for the super node, and then finally you write the equation for the remaining nodes which are not a part of super node. So therefore again you will get all these equations, and then finally again you format that into matrix, and then after formatting that into matrix you try to apply Cramer's rule to find out whatever the question is been asked, the parameter whatever it is been asked in the question, you find it out. Fine. So now we look into the problems related to node voltage analysis. So this is the problem what we have, which is used to find the node voltages. So this is the diagram, whatever we have, the circuit diagram which is given here. So we do have 10 amps in parallel with 1 ohms, and then we have 2 ohms, 3 ohms, 4 ohms, 5 ohms and 10 amps in parallel again. So for this circuit, we need to apply nodal analysis or node voltage analysis to find node voltages. So let us see the steps involved here. So the first step is we need to mark all nodes in the given circuit diagram. So for that, I'll again write the circuit diagram for that. So here we need to mark the nodes first. That is the first step which we need to do. So I'm just writing the diagram once again so that we'll mark the nodes for this. So this is 10 amps and this is 10 amps. We have 1 ohm here, 2 ohm here, 3 ohm, then we have 4 ohm, then we have 5 ohm. So let us consider this as a ground which is connected. Now our job is to point out the nodes in the given network. So what is nodes in a electrical circuit? Now the nodes is the position where you see the voltage difference. Means for example, like how do we measure the voltage in any given circuit manually? Means while doing the experiment is we use a device called voltmeter. In voltmeter you will have two terminals. One is a red wire, the other one is a black wire. Okay, so if you use a voltmeter you will have two terminals for any voltmeter. One is red and one is black wire. Red is normally black is normally negative, whereas red is positive. Okay, so what we do is we will find out a reference node here in this particular network. So a node which is connected to ground is always a reference node. This is actually called as a reference node. So at this reference node we will have voltage to be equal to 0 volts. So at this reference node we will have voltage to be equal to 0 volts. Now keeping this reference node, we will measure the voltage across the network. Okay, we will measure the voltage across the network, where negative will be connected to the reference node, whereas positive will be connected to the place where we are measuring the voltage in the network. So therefore, by keeping negative wire here, we will keep positive wire here. Okay, so positive wire here. So we will see that due to this current source in parallel with the resistance, we will be able to see a potential difference at this potential voltage drop at this particular position, right? Due to the current source in parallel with the resistance, we will see a voltage drop. So excitation is happening because of the current source in parallel with the resistance. So therefore we will see a voltage here which can be measured. A voltage can be measured here which is different from the reference node. Okay, now we will go towards this resistance and we'll try to measure the voltage at this particular node by placing the voltmeter's positive terminal, where negative will always be connected to ground. So here we'll see that the voltage what we found at node 1 will be dropped because of this resistance 2 ohms. Therefore we will be measuring a voltage which is quite different from 1. So therefore we'll mark it as node 2. Similarly, we will mark the voltage at this particular node. At this node, we will try to find out the voltage by keeping positive again to this node, whereas negative is always at the reference node of the voltmeter. So we will be able to see that the voltage drop has occurred because of this 4 ohm. So whatever the measurement that we did at node 2 will not be same at this particular node, because there is a voltage drop occurs because of this 4 ohm. Therefore, that node will be named as third node. Okay, so therefore the number of nodes, if they ask you in any given network, it will always be n minus 1. It will always be n minus 1 nodes. The reason here n minus 1 nodes, because we don't take the reference node into consideration to say the number of nodes in any given network, because in reference node always the voltage will be 0. So let me assume this reference node as V4 here. I will assume the reference node to be V4, which is equal to 0 volts always. Whereas these three nodes, I will number now it as with voltages V1, with voltage V2, with voltage V3. Okay, I have numbered node as 1, 2, 3. Now I will mark it with voltages V1, V2, V3. Now our job is to find out what is V1, what is V2, and what is V3. This is our job to find. We need to find this node voltages V1, V2, V3. So this is the first step always in node voltage analysis, to mark the nodes and to mark the voltages at that particular nodes. Okay, now the main method here is we find node voltages by writing KCL at each node. We write KCL at each node. We try to write the KCL equation at each node. Okay, so therefore let us take first node, which is, let us take the first step which we apply to apply KCL at node 1. Therefore let us apply KCL at node 1. Okay. Now let me write the diagram separately for node 1. So we take separate diagrams for each node. So what we do is we take the node and we try to take the components which are connected to that particular node. So I have V1 here. So this is V1 and I have resistor connected to V1. We have 1 ohm connected to V1 and we also have a current source which is connected to V1. So therefore this is 10 amps, sorry. Then you have 1 ohm, then we have 2. Now we will mark the voltage at the node. So this is V1, right? This is V1. Now what we add this and this node, see in the diagram, if you see this whole thing, whatever you see, this complete nodes, what you see is all a reference node V4 equals 0 volts. Okay, this is all common point which is connected to ground. Therefore, if I say what is this end of 10 amps is connected, it is connected to V4 which is 0 volt. Similarly, this end of 1 ohm is connected again to 0 volt. Okay, whereas this end of 2 ohm is connected to V2. See here, V2 is connected across 2 ohms, V1 and V2. Therefore, now we need to write the KCL. For KCL, we need to see the current leaving the node, right? So therefore, I'll take current, 3 currents because we have 3 branch leaving the node. So I'll name this current as I1, I'll name this current as I2 and I'll name this as I3. See, this is an assumption what we make. We try to consider all currents are leaving the node, or you can also consider all currents are entering the node based on the number of branches connected to that particular node. So here I1, I2, I3 I have considered leaving the node. It is my assumption. You can assume all 3 entering, but you cannot consider current where I1 is entering or I2 is leaving or I3 is entering. So you can't mix it up. Either all 3 currents should enter the node, or 3 currents should leave the node. Okay, this step whatever I am doing by assuming the current leaving the node is to write the current equation for each branch using KCL. Okay, Kirchhoff current law we are using to write the current equation for each branch. So therefore here if I write the KCL for node V1, I will write I1 plus I2 plus I3 equals 0. Now what is I1? If you see the diagram, I1 is nothing but 10 amps, right? If we see the diagram, I1 is nothing but 10 amps. So now I1 is 10 amps, but I1 is flowing in opposite to 10 amps. The direction of 10 amps and I1 is both are opposite, but I1 remains as 10 amps. So therefore I1 will be equal to negative of 10 amps. Because 10 amps is flowing towards the node, I1 is leaving the node. So therefore the current I1 and 10 amps are same, but the polarity will get changed. Coming to I2. I2 will be, we all know that current equals voltage by R. So here I2 will be, R is 1 ohms, right? So we'll take that in the denominator, 1 ohms. Now what is on the numerator? We should see the voltage across 2 ohms. Voltage across 1 ohm divided by 1 ohm will give you current. Now what is voltage across 1 ohm? It is V1 minus 0. See, this is 0 volts. Therefore V1 minus 0 divided by 1. V1 minus 0 divided by 1. Therefore I2 will be equal to V1. Now coming to I3. I3 equals, now the current I3 is flowing towards 2 ohms. Therefore the voltage across 2 ohms is nothing but the denominator will have 2 ohms, whereas numerator will have voltage difference across 2 ohms, which is V1 minus V2. So V1 minus V2 is the voltage across 2 ohms. Therefore I3 will be equal to V1 minus V2 divided by 2. Okay, V1 minus V2 is what the voltage across 2 ohms, and that divided by resistance will give the current I3. So therefore with this I1 plus I2 plus I3 equals 0, let me consider this as equation 1. So if I substitute these three values I1, I2, I3 in equation 1, what will I get? I'll get minus 10 plus V1 plus V1 minus V2 divided by 2 equals 0. Therefore, I will be ending up in getting this equation with 1.5 times V1 minus 0.5 times V2 equals 10. This is the first equation in terms of V1 and V2. This is the first equation. Okay, now we will try to apply the same KCL equations that we find out at node V2. Now this is the equation which we have got. Let me mark it as equation 2, sorry, because we have already marked equation 1 here. So this is equation 2. Now we will apply the KCL for node V2. Okay, so here let me take second step, apply KCL at node 2. So for that we need to write the diagram separately for node V2. So this is node V2. So let us go back and look into the diagram whatever we have got. So here V2 is here, we have 2 ohm, we have 4 ohm and we have 3 ohm. These are the three components which is connected to node 2. Therefore, the three components which we have here is one resistor connected to V2, we have another resistor and we have another third resistor. So now we will have, this is V1 and this is V2, V3 sorry. So this is V2 which we have. Okay. Now at this point you will see that it is 0 volts. Okay. Now what is the resistance values? It is, so the resistance values here is 2 ohm, 3 ohm and 4 ohm. Therefore, I'll just write that resistance values here. 2 ohm, 3 ohm and 4 ohm. I hope that is the value which we have. Let me see again. 2 ohm, 3 ohm and 4 ohm. Okay. I'll mark all the currents leaving the node 2. So therefore I'll assume, I have assumed already I1, I2, I3 there. So I'll assume here 3 currents leaving the node, which is I4, I5 and I6. Therefore here if I write the KCL for node 2, I'll get I4 plus I5 plus I6 equals 0. Now what is I4? Let us write I4. I4 equals, see, I4 is the current flowing through the resistance 2 ohms. So therefore the voltage across 2 ohms is now, when we consider node 2, will be V2 minus V1 and that voltage will be divided by 2 because that is the current I4. To find out the current we need voltage divided by R. Therefore V2 minus V1 is known. Now whenever we take the equation at that particular node, that becomes positive and the other voltage becomes negative. That is the reason why I have written V2 minus V1. So V2 minus V1 by 2 and I6 is V2 minus V3 divided by 4 because I6 is the current flowing through 4 ohms. Therefore it is V2 minus V3 divided by 4 and I5 is the current flowing through 3 ohms. Therefore it is V2 minus 0 divided by 3 or it is V2 by 3. Therefore now if you add all these three equations, what will I get? I'll get V2 minus V1 by 2 plus V2 by 3 plus V2 minus V3 divided by 4 equals 0. So therefore if you solve this equation, I'll get minus 0.5 times V1 plus 1.08 V2 minus 0.25 V3 equals 0. So this is first equation which we have taken I1 plus I2 plus I3 equals 0. We got the second equation for while applying KCL at node 1. Now we have I4 plus I5 plus I6 is third equation, whereas because of third we have arrived the node equation in terms of V1, V2, V3 is this. So let us mark this equation as fourth equation. Now the next step is to apply, the third step is to apply KCL at, so the third step is apply KCL at node 3. Apply KCL at node 3. So let us go back to the diagram once again. So let us see what we have in node 3. So in node 3 we have 4 ohm, 5 ohm and the current source, right? 4 ohm, 5 ohm and the current source. So let us write the diagram now. So we have the 4 ohm, 5 ohm and the current source, right? So this is 4 ohm, 5 ohm and the current source which is 10 amps. Now let me mark the node. Now this is my V3 now. This is the V3 node. However, before 4 ohms, if you see the diagram, you will get V2, right? This is V2. Whereas at this end, this is a common point where you can see 0 volts, right? Now I'll mark all the currents leaving this node. So this is one branch, this is another branch, this is another branch. So I took till I6, now I'll take this as I7, I8 and I9. So I'll write the KCL equation for node 3 now, which is I7 plus I8 plus I9 equals 0. Okay, now what is I7? I7 equals, see the current I7 is current flowing through this 4 ohm resistance. So voltage would be, now we are writing at node 3, therefore V3 will be positive and V2 will be negative. So V3 minus V2 divided by 4 is what I7. Similarly, if you see I8 would be equal to V3 minus 0 divided by 5, which is equal to V3 by 5. Similarly, I9 would be equal to, what is I9? I9 and this 10 amps. So this 10 amps is flowing through that branch where I9 is taken in that particular branch. So I9 is opposite to 10 amps. Therefore, I9 will be equal to minus 10 amps. Now, if I add all these three, what will I get? I get V3 minus V2 divided by 4 plus V3 divided by 5 minus 10 equals 0. So what will I get? Minus 0.25 V2. So 1 plus 1 by 4 is 0.25 plus 0.2. So I get 0.45 plus 0.45 V3 equals 10. This is the third equation which we get. This is the, so I'll just mark this as fourth, fifth and this is sixth equation. Okay, so equation number is very important. Okay, now I got three equations in terms of V1, V2 and V3. I'll just I'll just take that three equations now. One is this equation. So this equation I have got. So I'll take this equation. Okay, and then I'll take this equation. Okay, I think I'll just write this three equations. So first equation, whatever I have got here is, what was the first equation which I have got here is, this was the first equation I have got, 1.5 V1 minus 0.5 V2, so I'll just mark that 1.5 V1 minus 0.5 V2 equals 10. So this is equation 2 which we have got. Then we have equation 4, which is minus 0.5 times V1 plus 1.08 V2 minus 0.25 V3 equals 0. This is my fourth equation. And then finally we have got the sixth equation, which is in terms of V1, V2, V3. So therefore I'll write minus 0.25 times V2 plus 0.45 times V3 equals 0. Now this is the sixth equation. Now we will write the matrix equivalent of this equation to apply Cramer's rule to find out the solution. Okay, so matrix equation is what you all know how to write the matrix, I feel. So when we have three different equations, so we can easily write the matrix for that three equations to apply the Cramer's rule. So here V1 is in terms of 1.5, and then we have V2 is minus 0.5, and then V3 is 0 because we don't have V3 in this equation. Then we have minus 0.5 here, then 1.08 is V2, and then we have minus 0.25 is our V3. See, minus 0.25. Then we have minus 0.25, then we have 0.40 here because we don't have V2 in that. Then we have minus plus 0.45. Then we have V1, V2, V3, and this is equal to the RHS term is 10 here, so 10. So we don't have anything here, 0, so therefore 0. Then we have sorry, this is 10 actually. This is 10 because see here in equation 6 we have 10 there. So therefore it is 10. Now using this Cramer's rule, we will try to find out what is V1, V2, V3. Okay, so I suppose you all know the Cramer's rule. To find out the Cramer's rule, use that and then see what is that you get. So when you use the Cramer's rule, what you get is V1 equals 10.49 volts, then V2 equals 11.47 volts, and V3 equals 28.59 volts. So I hope you all know the Cramer's rule, where V1 will be equal to delta 1 by delta, and V2 will be equal to delta 2 by delta, and V3 will be equal to delta 3 by delta. So finding out delta is nothing but the determinant of this matrix. Find directly. Okay, determinant of the matrix is nothing but delta. What is delta 1? Delta 1 will be equal to the first column of this matrix will be replaced with this voltage column matrix, current column matrix, sorry. This is 10, 0, 10, whatever we get, it is a current column matrix. So this matrix will be replaced in the first column, and then keep these two columns as it is and find out the determinant of that, you get delta 1. Similarly, delta 2 is keep the first column as it is. This second column will be replaced with this 10, 0, 10 column, this column, and find out the determinant of that, you get delta 2. Similarly, delta 3, what you find out here is replace the third column with this 10, 0, 10 and keep other two columns as it is and find out the determinant of that matrix, you get delta 3. So therefore delta is determinant of this, delta 1, delta 2, delta 3 is putting this 10, 0, 10 in first column, second column and third column position, and therefore if you take the ratio of delta 1 by delta, you will reach 10.49 as V1, 11.47 is V2, 28.59 is V3. Now this is how you try to find out the solution for this particular problem using node voltage analysis. Till now I have explained you about node voltage analysis for any given circuit diagram. Now we will see how to write the matrix, how to write the matrix directly by looking into the circuit diagram. So I hope I have explained same thing for mesh analysis. So we'll do the same for node voltage analysis also. Let us see how to write the matrix directly by looking into the circuit diagram. So here I'll just write the skeleton of the matrix first. So here when the dimension of this particular matrix, now this is nothing but the Ohm's law. We all know that V equals I into R. Similarly, I equals V by R, right? So this R, V by R is nothing but V into G, where G is nothing but conductance. G is conductance, which is the reciprocal of resistance, right? So therefore here this will be G matrix, this will be V matrix, this will be I matrix. So therefore this will be G11, G12, G13. I hope in the mesh analysis video, if you see, you will also see the explanation that I have done on how to write the matrix using by looking into the circuit for mesh analysis. Similarly, we are trying to write the matrix for node voltage analysis. So there we took R into I equals V. Here we are taking G into V equals I. That is what Ohm's law. So G21, G22, G23, G31, G32 and G33, and this will be multiplied by V1, V2, V3 and I1, I2, I3. So here this dimension of this G matrix will be 3 cross 3 because we have 3 nodes that we have found in the network. Similarly, this will be 3 cross 1, 3 rows and 1 columns. This will also be 3 rows and 1 column. This 3 says it is the number of nodes in any given network. Number of nodes in any given network. Okay. Now, our job is to find out what is this G11, G12 and so on. So, we'll try to write that now. So, we'll try to write that particular matrix now. So, here G11 is the conductance that are connected to the summation of the conductance that are connected to node 1. 1 is the summation of the conductance that are connected to the node 1. Okay, node 1. Now conductance means it is the reciprocal of the resistance, right? So we should see the conductance which are connected to this node 1. Okay, so we have 2 ohms and 1 ohms. Summation of the conductance. Now 1 by 1 is 1 plus 1 over 2, which is the conductance related to 2 ohms. Now these are the only two resistance which are connected to node 1. Therefore 1 plus 1 over 2. Similarly 1, 2. Between node 1 and node 2 we have 2 ohms. Between node 1 and node 2 we have 2 ohms. So conductance related to 2 ohms is 1 over 2. Between node 1 and node 3. Between node 1 and node 3 we don't have any resistance in common which is connected between node 1 and node 3. Therefore that will be taken as 0. Between 2 and 1 we have again 2 ohms which is connected there. So we'll say 1 over 2. Now between 2 and 2 means the resistances which are connected to node 2, we should see that and we should take the conductance of that. So we have 2 ohms, we have 3 ohms, we have 4 ohms. So therefore it is 1 over 2 plus 1 over 3 plus 1 over 4. Then we have between 2 and 3. Between 2 and 3. So between 2 and 3 we have 4 ohms. Therefore conductance is 1 over 4. Similarly between 3 and 1 that is what 3 1. Between 3 and 1 we don't have any common resistance which is connected, so it is 0. Now between 3 and 2, between 3 and 2 we have again 4, therefore it is 1 over 4. And between 3 and 3 means those resistance which are connected only to node 3. We have 4 ohm, we have 5 ohm, therefore conductance related to that is 1 over 4 plus 1 over 5. This will be multiplied with V1, V2, V3, and this is equal to, now we should see what is the current flowing through that particular nodes. So when the current is flowing towards the nodes, we take that current as positive. When the current is leaving the node, we take it as negative. So for node 1, we can see 10 amp is flowing towards that node 1. Therefore, I'll write plus 10. And for node V2, we don't have any current source which are connected to node V2. Therefore, we take as 0. Now for node 3, we do have a current source 10 amps entering to node 3. Okay, 10 amps is entering to node 3. Therefore, I'll get 10. Now what I'll do, I'll write the matrix in the proper sense now. So 1 plus 1 over 2, which is 3 by 2, which is 1.5. Then 1 over 2 is 0.5. Then we have 0. Then you have again 1 over 2, which is 0.5. Then again 1 over 2 plus 1 by 3 plus 1 by 4, it is 1.08. Then we have 1 by 4, which is 0.25. Then we have 0. Then we have 1 over 4 again 0.25. Then we have 1 over 4 plus 1 over 5, which is 9 by 5 into 4, which is 20. So somewhere around, what do we get is 0.25 plus 0.2. So which is 0.25 plus 0.2 is 0.45. We get 0.45, and this will be multiplied with V1, V2, V3, and this is equal to, we'll get 10. Oh, sorry. So we get 10 here, then we get 0, then we get 10. Now leaving this principal diagonal elements, so leaving this principal diagonal elements, as we did in mesh analysis also same thing, leaving this principal diagonal elements, all other elements will be negative. Okay, all other elements will be negative. So therefore, all other elements will be negative, leaving the principal diagonal. Therefore, what is the final matrix that we get here is minus 0.5, 0, minus 0.5, 1.08, minus 0.25, then again 0, then we have minus 0.25, then again 0.45. This is multiplied with, we have V1, V2, V3. This is equal to 10, 0, 10. Okay, I hope you got the method how to write the matrix. Now if you see this matrix and the matrix which I have explained in the previous problem, means in the same problem I have explained writing equations. So if you see this matrix and that particular matrix, you see both the matrix are same. Therefore finally what you can do is you can directly write the matrix if you want, instead of writing the equation and then writing the matrix. So this is what the benefit of this particular method what we actually use. Okay, so we have G into V equals I for node voltage analysis. Therefore, G11 is nothing but the conductance connected only to node 1. So if I want conductance, I will take the reciprocal of the resistance and add it. So that is what 1 plus 1 over 2, because 1 and 2 is connected to node 1. Similarly, for node 2, between 1 and 2, we have 2 ohms. Therefore, it becomes 1 over 2, which is conductance. From 1 to 3, no common resistance, therefore it is 0. Between 2 and 1, again it is 2 ohms. So again it is 2 ohms, therefore it becomes 1 over 2. Now only for node 2 you see 2 ohms is connected, 4 ohms is connected, 3 ohms is connected. Therefore it is 1 over 2 plus 1 over 3 plus 1 over 4. And only for node between node 2 and node 3 we have 4 ohms, therefore 1 over 4. Then between 3 and 1 again we have 0, between 3 and 2 again we have 1 over 4, between 3 and 3 only for node 3 you see 4 and 5 ohms is connected, therefore 1 over 4 plus 1 over 5. And this multiplied by V1, V2, V3 because we have 3 nodes, voltage nodes, and then we have currents to each node. So we need to take the current positive when it flows towards the node, and whereas current in the matrix becomes negative when it is away from the node. Therefore, as you can see, this 10 amps is towards the node V1, therefore it will be considered as positive. And for node 2 we don't have any current source connected, therefore it is 0. And for node 3 again you have 10 ohms entering to 10 amps entering to node 3, therefore it is 10. Now if I write this ratio and all in the proper values, this is what I get. I get 1.5 minus 0.5, 0, 0.5, 1.08, 0.25, 0.25, 0.045. Now last method or last step is leaving principal diagonals. All other elements you should consider this elements as negative. Other than principal diagonals, all other elements will be negative. This is the step which you do for every problem. When you write matrix directly from looking into the network, the matrix, once you form the matrix, the final step what you always apply is leaving principal diagonal matrix, leaving principal diagonal in the matrix. All other elements should be considered as negative. Now after this, you know, apply Cramer's rule and find out what is V1, V2 and V3. For this problem, what you can see the circuit diagram on the screen, we need to find the current through 100 ohm resistance using node voltage analysis. Okay, we need to find the current through 100 ohm resistor using the node voltage analysis. The first job is we do have a circuit here. Okay, we do have a circuit here which has a voltage source connected to the resistance and which has another voltage source which is connected to this resistance. Now for this, writing matrix directly is not that we need to do. We should convert this into the diagram in such a way that you can write the matrix directly. For that, the voltage source should be converted into a current source. This voltage source should also be converted into a current source. For that, what we do source transformation in the beginning. So if we do that, we get a current source in parallel with this resistance, and this is in turn connected to a current source, and then we have a resistance, and then this series again converts into a parallel, so I get a current source in parallel with the resistance, and that in turn parallel with 100 ohms. I mark all the values now. So this is the current source, which arrow will be like this because plus is this, minus is this, so current will flow upwards. So 60 volts and 20 ohms. So 60 by 20, so it is 3 amps. This is 3 amps. And then 20 ohms will remain here. Then we have a current of 1 amps. Then we have here 30 ohms. Then we have, this is again plus and minus, therefore the current will flow upwards. So I will get V by R 40 by 50, which is 4 by 5. 4 by 5 is 0.8 amps. This would be 0.8 amps. Then we have 50 ohms. Then we have 100 ohms. Now why I have done this voltage source conversion to current, because we need the matrix what we write for this particular KCL, okay, Kirchhoff current law, we need all current sources to be present in the network, whereas voltage source, if we have, writing KCL will not be possible, right? So as we write KCL or as we take a KCL, so here it is always better to have a current sources in place of voltage source. So we do transformation, source transformation in the. Now this is the circuit which we have. Now we can mark how many nodes here is. All these are common points. You take any node at any position, it is the same value of voltage that you get. Okay, this is the reference voltage, so 0 volts. So all this bottom line is our common point which has 0 volts. Okay, whereas here if you take this complete point till this node, this complete point will have one voltage value which is V1. So I can take that as a node because we get a voltage drop because of this parallel resistance in parallel with these two current sources. So we get a voltage drop V1 here. Now because of this 30 ohms connected between this node and this node, we get another voltage drop here which is V2 because of this 30 ohms. And then these points are all common, which is V2 only, because it is connected to V2, though all are common, so all are V2. So therefore in this problem we have only two nodes. We have only two nodes. Now we'll see how to write the matrix directly for this. So the matrix dimension will be 2 cross 2 because we have only two nodes, and voltage will be 2 cross 1, which is V1, and V2, which is 2 cross 1, which is equal to current values. So we'll write this matrix. Again this will be 2 cross 1. Now here what is G11? So here it is G11, G12, G21, G22. That is what we get. So when I say G11, you see that 20 ohm is connected to node 1, 30 ohm is also connected to node 1. Therefore it is 1 over 20 plus 1 over 30. Similarly between node 1 and node 2 we have 30 ohm. Therefore it is 1 over 30. Again between 2 and 1 30 ohm. Therefore it is 1 over 30. Whereas 2 and 2, we have 30 ohm connected to node 2, we have 50 ohm connected to node 2, we have 100 ohm connected to node 2. Therefore it is 1 over 30 plus 1 over 50 plus 1 over 100. 1 over 100. Now we will see what is the current values that we will mark in the matrix now. Okay, we will see what is the current values that we will mark in the matrix. So here for node V1 or for node 1, we have 3 amps entering, we have 1 amp is also entering. So as both the currents are entering, it is 3 plus 1 which is equal to 4. We get 4 here. Similarly here for node 2, we can see only 0.8 is entering, and as it is entering, so it is plus, therefore it is 0.8. So this is equal to, so if you take 1 divided by 20 added with 1 divided by 30, we get 0.05. Okay, so I'll tell you again, 1 divided by 20 added with 1 divided by 30, we get 0.0833. Sorry, we get 0.0833, and 1 over 30, 1 divided by 30, what we get is we get 0.033. Similarly, again this is also 0.0333, whereas this one, what do we get here is 1 divided by 30 plus 1 divided by 50 plus 1 divided by 100. So we will get 0.0 0 6 3 3 multiplied by V1 V2 equals 408. Okay, 408. Now in this problem I need to find out what is the current through this 100 ohms. So let me take this I. So let me take this I. Now what is voltage across 100 ohms? So the voltage across 100 ohm is nothing but V2 only. The voltage across 100 ohm is V2. Therefore I equals V by R, which is nothing but V2 divided by 100 ohms is what I. Okay. So V2 divided by 100 ohms is what I, which is flowing through 100 ohms. Now my job is to find out only V2. My job is only to find out V2. So for that, what we can do is we can go with Cramer's rule, where V2 will be equal to delta 2 by delta. Okay, now what is delta 2? What is delta 2 equals? Delta 2 is nothing but determinant of, this will take the position, the second column. So I'll get 4, 0.8, and then I'll be having 0.0333 and then 0.06333. So you need to find out what is the determinant of this. So therefore when you find out the determinant, delta 2 and delta is what determinant of the 0.0833, 0.0333 and 0.0333 and 0.0633. So determinant of this, I think leaving this principal diagonals, other two elements will be negative. You should take this as negative. Therefore here in this matrix this will be negative, whereas this will be negative, negative. So now if you find out this V2 delta 2 by delta, you will get V2 to be equal to 47.99 volts is the answer you get. V2 will be 47.99 volts. Therefore finally I equals 47.99 divided by 100. So finally IU will be getting 0.4799 amps. So this will be your answer. Okay. So after finding out delta 2 determinant of this matrix, delta is determinant of this matrix. So V2 equals delta 2 by delta. You will end up in getting a solution 47.99, where I will be equal to 47.99 by 100. Finally, you will end up in getting the current value through 100 ohms is 0.4799 amps. Okay, I hope you are clear with this problem, and this is what the solution. Okay, in this problem we need to find out node voltage in the circuit by using nodal analysis, right? So therefore, first job is to find the number of nodes in the given circuit, and that is what we are going to do now. So this reference node is 0 volts. By keeping this node as a reference, we try to see various other nodes in the network. Okay. So therefore, if I measure the voltage at this point, okay, due to this current source and this resistance whatever we have, okay, so we will see some sort of voltage drop at this particular node. Means we see some sort of voltage which occurs at this particular node. So we will measure this as, we will name this as node 1. Then we will try to see that when we measure the voltage at this node, due to this resistance connected between this particular node, we see that the voltage at this node is completely different what we measure at 1, because there might be voltage drop because of this 2 ohm connected here. So therefore I will take this as 2. I will take this as 2. Then I will measure voltage at this node. Now if you see the diagram properly, we do have a resistance which is connected between node 1 and this node. Therefore this resistance 10 ohm might create a voltage drop, and therefore you will find out that there will be a different voltage which will be measured at this node. So nodes are marked in such a way that the voltage should be different at each node. That is what it is. That is the way we find out the node in the given circuit. Okay. So this was the first step which we have done, marking all nodes, and we'll number it as or name it as V1, this as V2, and this as V3. Now our job is to find out what is V1, what is V2, and what is V3. Okay. But if you see this network properly, okay, there is one more thing which you need to see here. What is that? Can someone tell me what do we have here which is something special in this network which we did not see in the previous network?
Super node, sir.
Yes, fantastic. So we have a super node, right? What is the definition of super node? In fifth point, you see, super node should also be found. Super node is obtained when we have a voltage source in common between any two nodes. Okay, when we have voltage source in common between any two nodes. Therefore, in between V2 and V3, you see a voltage source is connected without any other element. See, there should be only voltage source, not any resistance connected here in series with this voltage source. If you have a voltage source in common between any two nodes, then that particular nodes are called as super node. Okay, so now we got the the specification here, means we got the solution here where we found the super node. Our first job here is what? The first job, as we have a super node here, as we have a super node in this problem, so we will write the equation for that super node first. So here you can't write matrix directly, okay? So earlier even in super mesh we used to not write matrix directly. So in the same way, even for the super node we will not write the matrix directly, because we need to write the equation for the source. First of all, we will write the equation for the voltage source. Voltage source. So what do we get? Equation here. See, minus is connected to V2, plus is connected to V3. Okay, I'll repeat. Minus of this voltage source is connected to V2, plus is of this voltage source is connected to V3. Therefore, plus V3 minus V2 equals 20. Okay, plus V3 minus V2 plus V3 minus V2 equals 20. How I wrote that V3 minus V2 is plus terminal of this voltage source is connected to V3, so plus V3, minus is connected to V2, therefore minus V2, which is equal to 20, and this will be equation 1. Equation 1. Now we need to write the super node diagram. Okay, now we need to write the super node diagram. Okay, so we will write that separately here. So in super node, earlier in super mesh, what we used to do? We used to remove the current sources, right? We used to remove the current sources, and then we used to write the super mesh diagram. Now here in super node, we are shorting, we are removing the voltage source and we are shorting that particular terminal. Okay, so that is what I have done in this diagram. In this diagram, see here, this is V2 and V3 are the super nodes. Okay, so I'll write here V2 and V3 are super nodes. Therefore, when V2 and V3 are super nodes, I am going to short this particular terminal by removing that particular voltage source. Okay, by removing the voltage source from that particular terminal or branch. Okay, now I'll write the separate equations for this super node. When I write equation, yeah.
Sir, can we convert the voltage current source between V1 and V2 as voltage source and take another super node?
Not required. I'll tell you why it is not required. Because in super node analysis, currents will be directly written in the matrix. See, when you write KCL, the currents are being taken in KCL, no? So why do you convert it? Not required. Conversion is not required. Okay. So here,
yes, sir.
So here we'll mark all currents now. So this has 4 branches. So all 4 currents are leaving from V1. Okay, we have 4 branches which are connected to V1. I will mark this as current I1. This is I2, I3, and this is I4. Because we have 4 branches, I will say 4 branches, 4 currents are leaving. Similarly, in V2, we have this branch, we have this, and we have this. And here also we have, we'll see, it gets cancelled. So I'll mark this as I5, I6, I7, and I8. Similarly, V3, this branch, this, and this. So I'll say I9, I10, I11, I12. Okay. Now if I want to write the super mesh equation, super node equation. So super node, I'll write super node equation, or applying KCL at super node. Apply KCL at super node. So what we do here, when I apply KCL at super node, I will see through that the current leaving at V2 and current leaving at V3 are being added together. Okay, current leaving at V2 plus current leaving at V3. So addition of this both will be equal to 0. This is the super node equation. Okay. Now what is the current leaving at V2? I5 plus I6 plus I7 plus I8. Right? See here, I5, I6, I7, I8 is the 4 currents which I have assumed, which is leaving V2. Plus, what is the current leaving at V3? I9 plus I10 plus I11 plus I12. So this whole thing equals 0. Now you see I8 and I11 both gets cancelled. Can someone tell me why it got cancelled?
Opposite direction.
Yes. See, I8 is flowing in this direction, I11 is flowing in this direction. Therefore, they get mutually cancelled. Okay, because I8 equals minus I11. So both currents are equal, but they are flowing in opposite direction. Therefore, they both get cancelled. Okay, so therefore, the equation what I have is I5 plus I6 plus I7 plus I9 plus I10 plus I11, I12 equals 0. Now therefore, this is the equation that we have. This is the equation that we have, which is the KCL at super node. Okay. Now let us see what is I5. So here I5 is the current flowing through this particular 4 amp current source. So what is I5? I5 equals, yes, someone tell me what is I5 by looking into the network? 4 amps, right?
V2 minus.
No. See, current source is connected there. That is the reason why I've asked you not to convert this current source in parallel with 2 ohms. Because when I5 is flowing towards V1, see the current value. It is 4 ohms only. If there is a resistor here, then whatever you are saying, V2 minus V1, whatever the formula, if there is a resistor. But we have a current source itself here. So I5 is nothing but that current value only, which is 4. I5 is 4 amps. What is I6? I6 is what the formula which you said just now.
V2 minus V1 by 2.
Yeah, so V2 minus V1 by 2. I7? I7 is the current flowing through 4 ohms. V2 by
4.
4. Fantastic. I8 is not there. So I5, I6, I7 are the current flowing through the 3 branches, where I8 got cancelled with I11. Okay. Now coming to I9. What is I9?
Minus 10.
Yes, I9 is minus 10 only, because the current I9 is in the same direction what current 10 amps is flowing. Therefore, value is given as minus 10 here. So we will take that value only, which is minus 10 amps. I10 is
V3 by 5.
V3 by.
yes, V3 by 5. So I12 is
V3 minus V1 by 10.
yes, I12 is V3 minus V1 by
12. Well, 10.
10 because 10 ohm is connected between V3 and V1, and that is I12 is flowing through that 10 ohm. Okay, now we'll add all these things. So we get what? 4 plus V2 minus V1 by 2 plus V2 by 4, then minus 10 plus V3 by 5 plus V3 minus V1 by 10 equals 0. Therefore, we get minus, so if I take V1 common here, I get minus of minus 1 over 10. Okay, minus of minus 1 over 10 plus V2 into 1 over 2 plus 1 over 4 plus V3 by 5, V3 into 1 over 5 plus 1 over 10. Okay, 4 minus 10 is minus 6. If I take it to right hand side, it becomes equals 6. So now can someone tell me what is the V1 that we get? Minus 1 by 2 minus 1 minus half minus 10 minus 1 over 10. So it is 1 divided by 10, 1 divided by 2. So I get minus 0.6 V1. Then plus 1 over 2 is 0.5 plus 0.25, 0.75 V2 plus 1 over 5 is 0.2 plus 0.1, 0.3 V3, and this will be equal to 6. So this is the final equation that we get for super node. So this was the first equation we wrote for voltage source, and this is the second equation what we got for super node. Second equation which we have got for super node. Then we will see the next step is what is that? Write the KCL at the remaining node. Which is the remaining node now when V2, V3 are super node? Which is the another remaining node?
V1.
V1.
So we'll write the KCL at V1. So what is the current flowing through V1 here? I1 plus I2 plus I3 plus I4. So here I1 plus I2 plus I3 plus I4 equals 0. Now we'll see what is I1 in the diagram. So what is I1 in the diagram here? What is I1 in the diagram? Can someone tell me what is I1?
5 amps.
It is plus 5
5
amps.
amps.
Because I1 direction is reverse to this direction. Therefore, it is minus of minus 5 amps, which is plus 5 amps. Therefore, it is plus 5 amps. What is I2? I2 is flowing between, we have 2 ohms where V1 minus V2 by 2. We have 2 ohms here. Okay, V1 minus V2 by 2. So it is V1 minus V2 by 2. Coming to I3.
Minus 4 amps.
Yeah, so I3 is the current. See, I3 is this current flowing through this branch where 4 amps is connected, but 4 amps is flowing reverse to I3. Therefore, I3 will be minus 4 amps. Finally, what is I4? I4 is,
V1
yeah, so it is flowing through 10 ohms. Therefore, it is V1 minus V3 by 10. So V1 minus V3 by 10. So now we will add all these equations. So it is plus 5 plus V1 minus V2 by 2 minus 4 plus V1 minus V3 by 10 equals 0. Therefore, V1 into 1 over 2 plus 1 over 10 minus V2 by 2 minus V3 by 10 equals 5 minus 4 is plus 1. So if I take it to right hand side, it becomes minus 1. So 1 over 2 is 0.5 plus 0.1. So it is 0.6 V1 minus 0.5 times V2 minus 0.1 times V3 equals minus 1. So therefore, this is the third equation we have in terms of V1, V2, V3. Okay. Now what is the job? To find out V1, V2, V3. Now it is very simple. You got 3 equations in terms of V1, V2, V3. So my job is to write the matrix for this. So therefore, what is the first equation? V3 minus V2 equals 20. So we'll write this here. V3 minus V2 equals 20 is the first equation. Second equation is minus 0.6 V1 minus 0.6 V1 plus 0.75 V2 and plus 0.3 V3 equals 6 plus 0.3 V3 equals 6. Now the last equation is 0.6 V1 minus 0.5 V2 minus 0.1 V3 equals minus 1. Okay. So should we have the Cramer's rule, or can we do without that? See, we have minus 0.6 V1 plus 0.6 V1. If we add these two, we get an equation in terms of V2 and V3, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So if you add 2 and 3, add 2 and 3, so what we get? 0.75 minus 0.5 is 0.25 V2, 0.3 minus 0.1 is plus 0.2 V3 equals 6 minus 1 is 5. So therefore this will be your equation 4. Now equation 1 and equation 4 is in form of V2 and V3. So finally you see what V1,
We
V2,
solve this by
V3.
elimination method, no?
Yeah.
Okay.
See what V1, V2, V3 you get by solving fourth and first equation. See what you get V2 and V3.
Sir, we'll do this as homework.
No, till the answer.
Answer. Time हो गया sir.
Use the calculator, no?
हाँ.
So I hope V1 you get minus 9.44 volts. Minus 9.44 volts. And V2 we get as 2.226. And V3 we get 22.226.